Listen, so I've been getting, a lot of feedback on the video that I made the other night about my husband and him being incarcerated and how I get by every day while he's in prison and stuff like that. And, a couple of people, um, well, a couple of people, two females, asked me, um, like, was I judged because I'm with a man that's in prison? Um, did my friends act funny? Did they make funny comments? And like, how did people around me feel that I was marrying a man in prison? I really didn't care. I didn't care. Once God told me and confirmed to me that my husband was my husband, okay? Once God said, not once, not twice, but several times, and confirmed it through strangers, right? And other ways that he confirmed it, that my husband was my husband, I didn't care what people thought. I never been the type to care what people think. I'm the type to care about how people move around me. I'm the type to care, like, okay, if you pretending to be my friend and really you're not, stuff like that, yeah, I care about. And I only care about that but so much because once I get that vibe that I know I can't trust you and that confirmation, I just cut you off. Like, I don't think twice on cutting people off. You know what I mean? So I learned a long time ago at a very early age not to care about how people view me and how people think about me. And especially now, that I operate in my gifts, because I had this gift since I was younger, to really see through people and for God to show me things about people. I don't allow what other people think of me to bother me, because at the end of the day, we all can look normal, we all can look happy, we all can look cool and all that in person and be dying inside. And the thing is, like, nowadays, like, what relationship is perfect? You show me a perfect relationship. You know what I mean? Like, people will sit there and be like, oh, I will never marry a dude in prison. I will never be with a dude in prison. And the dudes that they're with are out here treating them horribly. And when I say horribly, horribly, they're not even providing for bills. They're not even buying them stuff. All they're doing is using and literally abusing them. So I didn't get caught in the thing of like, oh, people are going to look at me funny and feel some type of way. I don't care. I honestly did not care how people viewed me. I was more worried about how I felt about being with somebody in prison and how that was going to go. And if I was able to do what God wanted me to do as far as like being a wife to this man, you know what I'm saying? And, it was more really about obeying God, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like I say all the time, me and my husband didn't get married out of the flesh. Even he said it. He was like, I could have married somebody a long time ago if it was for convenience. He was like, I wouldn't have married somebody at the end of my sentence. Why marry somebody at the end of my sentence when I could have married somebody at the beginning of my sentence just to have somebody? He said, but I'm not the type to use people. He was like, so I'm not gonna sit here and marry nobody just because it would have looked good on paper for me. So I wasn't concerned. I wasn't a bit concerned. I wasn't a bit worried about what people thought. And a couple of people did. A couple of church folks came out the side of their mouth and said things. A couple of, I know there were conversations going on about my marriage to my husband behind my back. You know what I mean? But again, if I really wanted to sit down and waste my time and analyze people's relationship, most of these people did not have good relationships at all. Like, when I say at all, or marriages. So I once you know for sure, sorry, I keep turning the light off and on, but once you know for sure that God is who put you and that person together, you're not gonna care what other people think. You're really not. I'm sure even family probably have said things, but again, they need to look at their own relationship. You know what I mean? And the two people that actually had the balls to say something to me, I read them. I was like, you need to worry about what you got going on. Don't worry about who I'm marrying. Don't worry about, why we're getting married. Worry about what you got going on, And I did get into details about what they had going on, what God showed me. You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, well, I didn't mean it. I'm like, no, don't tell me that that's not how you meant it, honey. Just worry about what you got going on at home with your kids and with yourself and with the person you call boyfriend or husband, opposed to worrying about why I married my husband. And some people felt like, oh, you're too good to be with somebody in prison. And, we just feel like you deserve better. And I understood that. But at the end of the day, like I said, God is the one who put me and him together. God is the one. I don't want to turn his light on because I feel like it's too bright on my face, but whatever. God is the one that put us together. And when God tells you what it is, that's what it is, regardless. And I think that you'll be at peace with that. Once God confirms something to you, you'll have a peace that nobody can take from you. So yeah, I really didn't care how people felt about it. The only people that I cared about how they felt about it were my kids. And it was gradually. I didn't rush nothing with my husband. We were pen pals for a whole year. We was just friends. And then even with the process of acknowledging what God was showing us and telling us, I took my time with that too. And I did bring it by my kids because, to be honest, those were the only people I was worried about how they felt. And my kids pretty much judged, they judge they are secure in my judgment, basically. I wasn't the type to bring just any dude around my kids, or every time I had a boyfriend or a friend. No, I didn't do that. So my kids trust my judgment, as far as who I was marrying and what I was marrying. And they know how lethal their mother is in her gifts. And they know if I said God confirmed it, then God confirmed it. You know what I'm saying? So, and my kids are grown. My kids are out of the house. They're not little tiny babies either. So that would have been a different approach too. So my kids are grown. Like I said, they're grown enough to be out of the house. So I'm not bringing a stranger around little children. But, yeah, I really did not care. And I pray that you don't care either about what people say. If you're in a relationship with a man that's in prison, if you're going to marry somebody that's in prison, all I say to you, all my suggestion to y'all is go to God about this person and make sure that that's who God wants for you. That's it. Even if you meet him in the streets, go to God and make sure that this is who God has for you and wants for you. Before you make any choices, but anybody, some dude you meet at the mall, some dude you meet at church, anywhere, go to God about this man, go to God about this woman. But if he's in prison, absolutely go to God first. And once God confirms that this is the person for you, don't worry, you're not going to worry about anybody's opinion. The only person you should be worried about is how you really feel, and your children if you have children. Don't worry about no family members. Don't worry about no friends, because they be out here going through it with their own man, and they will tell you what to do in your relationship and who to deal with, while they got World War 3, 4, 5, 7 going on in their own relationship. And I'm over here sweating like crazy. In their own relationship, in their own home. So do yourself a favor. Don't worry about what people say. They probably talk junk. They will. People talk junk about everything. They'll talk junk about the best relationship in the world. They got something to say. Look at how they dogged out Russell because he's a good man. Like, people are crazy nowadays. You know what I mean? Like I said, they'll judge your relationship and they'll be going through World War 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in theirs. So people are good at that nowadays. They're good at minding somebody else's business. You know what I mean? Your friends will be out here sleeping around with people's husbands and man and doing all type of stuff and still be telling you, oh, don't mess with him. Don't deal with him. Don't this, don't that. Once you know for sure that God put that person in your life and that person is meant to be your husband, your spouse or whatever, don't worry about what anybody else is saying. Please do yourself that favor. Do not worry. We're always being judged. People will always be judging somebody, no matter what. So God bless you. Good night. I hope that helps you. And like I said, go to God about it. God will confirm it to you. He'll show you exactly what's in that person and why that man wants to marry you. So, go to God. That's why we say just go to God. God always makes it so much easier for me, And don't be in denial about what God shows you and tells you either. That's all I got to say. If he tells you this man ain't for you, please listen. Please listen. If God says to you, this is not the man for you, listen. And don't take any further steps without clear confirmation from God. Don't waste your time. If God ain't confirming it, then just wait. Because eventually he's going to show you something. All right. So God bless you. Good night. Have a blessed and safe weekend. I love you guys. Sorry, I didn't want to turn the light on because it was like too bright on my face. But God bless you. It was a beautiful night. Enjoy your weekend.